Hello everyone, we're going to be talking about Tropical Storm Arthur, but before we could get into this video, I would ask you to subscribe if you are new to the channel, and make sure to share this video with any friends or family that might like daily weather forecasts just like this one. But anyways, let's get right into this video. So we're looking at the 2-day graphical tropical weather outlook from the National Hurricane Center, and I can see that where Tropical Storm Arthur exactly is. Pretty much in this whole area where you can see that, where you can see those kind of the spiral clouds. That's exactly where Tropical Storm Arthur is currently as of 1:19 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So you can see the maximum sustained winds is up to 45 miles per hour around tropical storm intensities. The minimum central pressure is at 1,002 millibars, and it is moving north-northeast at around 9 miles per hour. Definitely a pretty slow moving storm here. This is going to impact parts of North Carolina and Virginia there for those types of areas. You can look at the satellite imagery, and definitely you can see this Tropical Storm Arthur trying to organize here. Very scattered thunderstorms so far, but you can see in the actual these white clouds. Definitely is trying to organize here, pretty much around that central pressure, which is around. Looks like it is around here as of right now. You can look at the earliest reasonable arrival time of the tropical storm force winds. Let me zoom out here, and you can see this whole thing here. So around Sunday of 2 p.m. right now is around this type of area here, just to the east of the Georgia coastline, and this is going to be heading kind of a northeasterly direction here around Sunday of 8 p.m. Today around 8 p.m. It's going to be hitting parts of the southern part of this northern North Carolina's east coastline there. And then you get to Monday around 2 p.m. impact, and by the time it gets to around Monday to 2 a.m., so around overnight tonight, it will impact the whole North Carolina east coast. And then you're getting into Virginia here, and you could see some impacts of some winds there, possibly 20 to 30 miles per hour, but not that much of some tropical, not super heavy winds there. Definitely a big rip current risk along this type of line here, so you're definitely gonna have to watch out for that if you are out on the beaches. Then you get to around Monday 8 a.m. It is starting to impact parts of Maryland, around that type of area. Even in Delaware you could see some impacts there, but mostly once you get to around Monday 8 p.m. it will not be impacting any other states there, possibly New Jersey, but you won't see that much impacts from there on. You can look at the tropical storm force winds wind probabilities, and they are highest across the North Carolina coastline along that type of area. You do have some risks over here in parts of New Jersey, Delaware, and Maryland around that type of area, but not a very huge risk of those tropical storm force winds. The main threats of pretty much the main area where you're going to get tropical storm force winds is possibly within this North Carolina coastline there. Definitely going to have to watch out for this. There's actually some tropical storm warnings, I'm pretty sure now. There was a tropical storm watch out earlier, but I'm pretty sure these are warnings now. But definitely that'll be heading, definitely will be hitting parts of the North Carolina coastline. Here's the actual path of what the National Hurricane Center is pretty much saying what kind of path this is going to take here. This is pretty close to what I've drawn here in the last video. Definitely right here around 2 p.m. Today, which is around right now. And then you have those tropical storm warnings out for parts of the east coast of North Carolina. Pretty much it's the only state that has those tropical storm warnings so far in the tropical storm watches out. You get to, of course, 8 p.m. Monday, and it starts to head east as you get to around 8 a.m. Tuesday. It is not impacting any other states by then. You get to around 8 a.m. Thursday, and by the time it reaches Bermuda, it will die off by then. Finally, here's the rainfall amounts, and rainfall is not going to be the main threat, of course. Around this type of area of North Carolina, you could see up to around 2 to 4 inches or so, but mainly you're going to see 1 to 2 inches within that lime green color within there. You can look at the model here, and let's look at the forecast models for the GFS model, the CMC, pretty much those types of models are really starting to agree now. This is heading kind of a northeasterly direction, so this is where it is exactly now, east of the Georgia coastline. And then that'll be heading around Monday, impacting parts of the east coast of North Carolina. And then that heads northward, could impact, there's some impacts of the Maryland and Delaware area over there. And then by the time it reaches there, it will make a sudden turn to around the eastward direction. And then that'll, by the time it gets to around the Bermuda area, about north of Bermuda, it will weaken around that type of area. Here's the CMC model. Pretty much looks the same here. So it impacts the North Carolina, North Carolina coastline there. And then you get to around Tuesday, and it kind of dies off in that type of area once it gets to the Bermuda area. Finally, the Icon model, which is, it does say it's not going to die off by the time it gets to around the Bermuda area. It will die off by the time it passes there. It definitely impacts the North Carolina coastline, and then it moves off to the east. Possibly some wind impacts, little wind impacts for parts of Bermuda. Then it heads off east and dies off around there. If you did enjoy this video, I would ask you to subscribe to the channel if you are interested in watching daily weather forecasts, and make sure to share this video with any friends or family who might be in the path of this tropical storm or does like daily weather forecasts. But anyways, stay safe.